Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. John and Abbie Duggar have been kind of on the... They don't post a lot on social media. Frida has a lot to say about that. Currently, she wants to knock all the pillows off the couch because she's like, Abbie and John are getting dragged and she's not having it. So Frida has spoken. Look at my pretty background that's now a mess. Okay, welcome to my channel. Thursday, January 28th, and John and Abbie Duggar are back on Instagram. They don't post very frequently, but January's been a busy month. Obviously, it is John's birthday. He turned 31 years old, so they wished John a happy birthday, and it was Gracie's birthday. She turned 1 as well. So there was 2 birthdays back to back. Gracie turned 1 on January 7th, and John turned 31 on January 12th. So 2 birthdays in the span of 5 days. Busy. Now, her birthday photos were absolutely adorable. Gracie has the cutest hair, and she always has the cutest clothes. Abbie and John seem to be very happy. And for the most part, John and Abbie stay out of the drama on social media and very rarely add any sort of fodder to the snarkers. John and Abbie tend to be pretty mellow. Or John, the second oldest son of the Duggars, who's often overshadowed by his very bad older brother, Josh. Josh and John don't get along. You gotta wonder why there. There's a lot of people that say that John knew what Josh was doing back in the day, and he has zero tolerance for that because he's very protective of his sisters. And if you remember back in 2015, John was one of the Duggars that was very upset by the life that Josh had been leading, the double life per se of having multiple girlfriends and flings and going to clubs and drinking, and then also having all of the allegations from his past actually come up to light. It's also said that John also had a protective deal with Josh that he would not touch his twin sister Jana, and Jana happened to be one of the daughters that was not affected by what Josh did. John is sort of the silent protector of the ladies in the Duggar family, and he's also very fond of his wife. He seems to be a very doting husband. He goes out of his way to make her gifts for her birthday and bake cakes, and he loves to give her pedicures on the show. So generally, John is not the one that you would typically drag, except for the time that he had the Medicorp thing and the stuff in the Bahamas with the shipping and stealing allegedly fuel and that kind of stuff, but we don't have to go there. So John and Abbie are now back on the Instagram or on the gram, and they're getting dragged by fans. And it's because they recently traveled in a global pandemic to SeaWorld. Yes, that's right. John and Abbie traveled to Florida with their baby girl, and the photo that they shared on Instagram was absolutely adorable. The baby girl looked super cute with her 2 front teeth, an amber teething necklace that I hope she takes off at night, and says, "This is how much we enjoyed our trip to Florida." People were not super happy with this. I was looking through the comments, and while some people were like, "Oh, that's so cute. Oh, you're so sweet. Oh, we love Gracie," other people were more like, they said comments like, "Traveling, really?" Or, "Ah, how sweet, traveling to Florida during a global pandemic." Or, "Is travel wise? There are strict rules in Canada due to COVID. This pandemic shouldn't be overlooked." And I looked through the comments, and it was so many of these, like more of these than not. Some of the comments had directly addressing the fact that she's a nurse. So Abbie has worked as a nurse, and one commenter said, "While it is fine to vacation, and even if you don't feel sick, you could have COVID and spread it. Come on, Mom, you're a nurse. If everyone did what we were supposed to do, we could stop the virus faster. We are approaching 500,000. I would love to see my family in other states. I would love to travel, but I love keeping people alive and COVID-free more." And then more comments like, "Just be careful traveling during a pandemic, and fingers crossed you didn't catch COVID, and very irresponsible. You're traveling by plane." So is there no lockdown in your country? So here's the thing. They have their own plane, and that might be what they use to travel to Florida. John is also a licensed pilot, so maybe they didn't have to take a commercial airline. I don't know if they would have been able to take one of his smaller planes, I'm guessing, from Arkansas to Florida, but who knows. He often uses his plane when traveling, so I'm guessing maybe he flew, and so they're gonna argue that they didn't have to go through commercial airlines, but they still have had to go through an airport. And there's also the aspect of just traveling in general and the potential of you bringing your germs from Arkansas to another state. And she is a nurse. So going out in public and going to events and going to theme parks in the middle of a pandemic, when the cases are rising across the United States, when in some states they're seeing far greater incidences of cases reported daily than they were last year. And we're seeing a second wave that is spiking and adding more and more people passing away from the virus. So the CDC has for sure been recommending that we minimize our travel. We make sure that we are properly social distancing, that we're wearing masks when we're out in public. And, you know, you can't fault them for wanting to go on and live their life. The problem is that there are a lot of people that want to be doing what they're doing right now, and they're sacrificing and staying home because they know that traveling could only potentially make it worse. Not only that, but they're risking by going out to another state, bringing it back to Arkansas and potentially infecting the people around them at home. So you're bringing it to Florida. You could be bringing it to Florida, and you can also be bringing it back from Florida to Arkansas. You could potentially putting your little girl at risk. So there's a lot of questions here about why they would travel. And unfortunately, it makes me a little bit upset that Abbie, as a nurse, would not be taking this more seriously, because obviously it's not a good look. And so I don't know. You can't really expect much from the Duggars, but it is pretty interesting to see that the bulk of the comments to them were not positive. It was a lot of negativity and a lot of, you know, you should be doing better. You should be setting a better example. And the Duggars as a whole just haven't been. Even Joy was literally just at the airport yesterday in Tennessee, and she was snapped in a video by Carlin Bates walking into the airport without a mask on. Now, Carlin apparently said in a comment to someone in a DM that Joy had the mask, but she just had her hands full, and she put the mask on as soon as she entered the airport. She could have put the mask on before she walked into the airport. Some were saying, well, maybe she was just stopping for the picture. Why would she expect to have a picture taken or a video taken of her walking into an airport? That just seems a little bit weird to me. And then the fact that she walked into the airport without a mask means all those particles that she breathed in and out while walking into the airport without a mask, she could be, if she was carrying COVID, placing those germs all over the place and potentially infecting other people indirectly, or also indirectly putting herself at risk by walking into the airport, which has a lot of people going in and out on a daily basis without a mask on. Not to mention, there's a federal mandate now that in order to be in an airport, you have to wear a mask. So entering into an airport without a mask is against federal regulations at this point in time. Now, if she did put the mask on after she went in, that's great, but Joy, just do a better job for your followers and show them that wearing a mask is important, and then show them that you take it seriously by actually putting the mask on. I'm kind of getting tired of all of these people like using the I'm taking my mask off for photos, because honestly, just take the photo. It's not that hard. Or take the photo before you go into. And even in Carlin's excuse is that her hands were full. If her hands were full walking in, they were going to be full still when she got in there. What she should have done is put the mask on when she was in the car when her hands weren't full. It's just not an excuse that makes sense. It's not logical. And Joy's taking heat for it today. So Joy and John and Abbie are getting in trouble today for not following the protocols and for traveling and being irresponsible. So tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.